Hi there, I'm angellxluci. Welcome to my video. Today we're going to be setting collection goals for 2024. So let's get started. So first off, these big pages here were my goals for 2022. And I didn't reach any of them and I was very upset about that. So it's important for me to set manageable goals, reachable goals, and also smaller goals, because you'll see, for example, for Itzy, I have collecting all the versions as a single goal, which is a pretty big thing to even get as a goal at all. So I need to be careful to make them manageable. So I'm actually also going to make it a bit smaller this year. So yeah, let's get started. So I do still want to start off with Itzy, because I want to make them, list them by their priority to me. And Itzy is pretty important to me, as that's also the collection I'm furthest with. So let me make a little checkbox. That looks cute. So my first goal for Itzy is going to be collecting all Korean albums, but this time around that's much more manageable, because I don't need as many of them anymore. Is that how to spell collect? Yeah. Because I'm pretty sure the only era I'm missing albums for is Cheshire. So that's pretty doable. Right, so next up I wanna finish Itzy. And I actually wanna finish most of my Itzy collection, but I'll be breaking it up in smaller parts like this. So I'll speed this up in the edit. So I think this is going to be my goals for Itzy, because getting everything, these are too much in 1 year. That's not going to happen. So actually next up now I'm going to do Twice. So let me Itzy. Oh, I still need my marker. Hold up. Right. Marker. So I can section things off. Let's hope that's actually straight. Okay, so next up we're going to do Twice. And for Twice, I want to finish Sana, finish one member. Because I do collect multiple members, but for Twice, one member already has over 100 photocards, so that's a pretty big deal to do. But I do want to, for every member, finish my pre-order benefits collection. So for the members I collect, I mean. So that's Momo, Sana, and Chewy. And I want to get one version for each album. To kind of get me started on that as well. So I think that's going to be it for Twice. I really want to focus on Itzy this year. Because I'm pretty close to finishing Itzy altogether. So I'm kind of hoping I can push my goals a bit and actually finish the entire Itzy. And I don't know if I'll make that, but you know, it's nice to kind of have that like additional goal. Okay, the ones for Lightsum are actually pretty doable. I just really didn't focus on that while I was first doing these. However, I did write down in my initial collection goals for 2022, I wrote down I was going to collect Hyuna, Sangha and Sowon. There is no member called Sowon in Lightsum. I have no clue who that is. I have no clue how I got that name. And weird thing is, like, that's probably the weirdest thing about this. I remember I had just watched like a Weekly Idol episode with them. And I remembered there was a person called Sowon there, who was part of that group. And that was a really pretty girl. So I rewatched the episode to see if maybe I like messed something up in the name and it was actually a different name and I just didn't read well. The person I remember is not in that episode, which is like the weirdest thing ever. Because I really just remember a person that apparently doesn't exist. And that's so weird. Like, that still freaks me out a little. So, in case you're wondering who Sowon is, that's who Sowon is. I don't know either. But yeah, I do want to get all Korean album versions for them. So let's write that down real quick. And I do want to finish every era for them, but since we're breaking it up in smaller parts, I'll write down every single era and I'll speed it up again. I am not at all straight. Oh well. Right, so for the older groups, so I mean Hyuna, 4-minute and EXID basically, I'm not even going to include them in my goals, simply because they are very difficult to collect right now and I need to back collect everything still. So I'm not going to put that in my goals, just to not stress me out like that, because that's not necessary. But I am going to set goals for NMIXX and NiziU still, and for the boy groups of course. So let's do NMIXX first. Yeah, I do want to collect like OT6 eventually, but for now I think I really need to just like calm down and focus on a couple members only. Simply because like I do want the satisfaction of like actually finishing my goals, and collecting everyone is quite a struggle honestly. So I'm just going to pick a few members for who I want to collect all cards. And then I want to collect like the first 2 eras because I'm already pretty far with those. So I want to finish Lily. Ooh, my handwriting is getting more interesting by the second. Okay. And I also want to finish Kyujin, because she used to be my bias before I figured they were all my bias, so it kind of makes sense for me to pick her. Collection, that says collection, we all saw that. And like I said, the earlier eras, so... Ooh, what was the first one called? 。 . 。  . 。 . 。 . 。 . . 。 . 。 . 。 . 。 . 。 . 。 . . 。 . 。 . 。 . 。 . 。 . 。 . 。 . 。 . 。 . 。
「
Admar. And Worf. Nailed it. That, yeah. It was about to look so super aesthetic and now it looks ridiculous and I hate it already. So chances are I'm going to redo this off camera, but I'll get the same goals and I'll just like fix my writing basically. What are other things? I also want, again like I did with Twice, one version per album. Yeah. So that's NMIXX. Actually, I don't mind it that much that I didn't write like finish. I can do this. It doesn't have to be perfect. My life doesn't have to be perfect. It's okay to make mistakes. Right, so that leaves me with NiziU. And for NiziU, I also want to focus on a single member instead, like I did with Twice. And for that, I'm going to choose Mako. Because NiziU is, like out of these, NiziU is the most difficult to collect. Simply because they don't have quite as big of a fan base as some of these other groups do. So yeah, that's definitely a slow collection. Simply because it's difficult to trade for them. So yeah, NiziU is just going to be tiny, but they are there. They are represented in my goals list. And again, ooh, that didn't actually leave a line. That sucks. And again, these are priority based, so the higher goals I want to finish most of all, and the lower things are less important to me. So let's move on to boy groups now, and that does make sense with the layout because I do want to finish my girl group collections more than I want to finish my boy group collections, so that's why those are lower. And again, GOT7 is kind of an old group, so I'm not going to include them in this because it's difficult to collect for them. And I'm just going to do Ateez and Stray Kids. So, let's start with Ateez. I do actually kind of still want all Korean album photocards. So we are going to finish, or at least try to finish, Song Collection, and also try to finish Ilsa. And for them, again, I want at least one version per album. And that's going to be Ateez. And then we are going to do Stray Kids. So Stray Kids is kind of a difficult one. Because like I want to collect a lot, but Stray Kids has a bunch of specific photo cards that are really difficult to collect. So I could, like technically I could say I want to finish my Hyunjin collection, but I already know there's a bunch of photo cards that are going to be mission impossible to get. So I kind of don't want to write down finish member collection, simply because certain photo cards for that member will be really difficult. So let me think about how I'm going to do that actually. I do want one version per album again, so I can write that down. I think I'm just going to do era based, however I will only collect 3 members for each era, which are Hyunjin, Han and Felix. Because that makes most sense, because it's the earlier eras that have the difficult cards, and it's specifically a set of cards from IMU that's really difficult that I know, and a set of lentis from Levanter, I think that's from. That's also really difficult. So I know that it's going to be pretty much impossible for me to finish those. So I'm just going to write down the more recent eras, because I do really want to finish those. So it's going to be finish as class collection. And I'm just going to write their names behind, because I'm not going to collect OT8 even for those eras. I'm just going to collect the 3 members I collect. Oh, that's in the wrong order. Oh, that does bother me. That bothers me a lot. Okay. So yeah, I'm just going to write like the a bunch of the most recent eras. Okay, so these are going to be my collection goals for this year. Now I do want to like make it look pretty, so I'm going to like put it on this thing, because it'll look a bit more more beautiful. So let me just get some tape and tape it down. I hope it's centered. See, doesn't that look so beautiful? It's definitely not centered, but it does look really pretty, even though it's not centered. So yeah, that's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed, and I hope I see you again next week. Bye bye!